Hey guys, so here's the image, and like I said earlier, I hope you guys really like it. So let me break down exactly what's going on here. Um, so growing up on Van Horn, I was inspired by by all a lot of people, but some people really stuck out. So in case you didn't notice, this guy right here looks vaguely familiar. I'm sure all you guys know or remember Mikey. Mikey had an issue with stuttering. It wasn't an issue to us. Mikey understood he had the issue. He also understood that at times it make us laugh, and he enjoyed making us laugh at times. So we understood, and we had that great camaraderie with him. So I was inspired to create this person by using Mikey. Now, if you notice down here, right, he's barefooted. He's missing a shoe. Well, it was no secret that Mikey was prone to walking the neighborhood with no shoes. He'd basically run around the neighborhood barefooted. I swear that kid had superhero feet. But, yep, that was Mikey for you. He'd run around the lots barefooted, or he basically sometimes he had some sneakers on, but they'd always be untied. So I actually represented the barefoot right there, and I gave him a shoe. I gave him old style Adidas right there, red stripe Adidas. And don't know if you can look in there real quick. You see the little socks, the little ankle socks with the little puffy balls we used to rock back in the days. Yep. All right, let me focus on some other features I have here. Now you'll notice I have probably pencils here and a sharpener. That just indicates that this was my drawing area. And the reason I have a striped background is because I had a tendency at school to draw on any paper I can get my hands on. And believe it or not, yellow striped paper was all I can get my hands on. So we had tons of that growing up in the 80s. You'll see it now, but it's rare that someone will come home with yellow paper with stripes on it. Basically, it'll be white paper. Your notebook's full of white paper. But yeah, that's basically why I use that background. And I have if you notice, the babushka, which AKA the Van Horn security in the window there, representative of my mom and other moms that used to hang out the window on their little pillows and share recipes and novellas, so I made sure to add that. And if you look just below her, I have an old style CRT TV set. See if I can zoom in on that. All right. And you'll notice it has a pair of pliers to change the channels, grip pliers. I don't know about you guys, but I visited several homes on Van Horn that had those set of pliers along with ours. We always lost them too. Whenever my brother Carlos would fix his bike, fix his flats, he'd go yank that off the TV, and we'd never find it again for weeks. You have the infamous antenna with the aluminum foil on it. All right, let's get back to Mikey here. So Mikey is rocking one shoe in Adidas because I love Adidas. You'll notice he has a pair of two-tone jeans on. All right, and in his pocket, lodged in his pocket, you'll see a Rubik's Cube. Right alongside that, you'll see the infamous pager. Who didn't love a page from mom or dad, right? And then you had remember that? The name belt? Yep, he's rocking the name belt. I put Eski on that for myself. He's rocking a red Le Tigre shirt. You can't see the Le Tigre, but we were known to wear matching Le Tigre shirts with our sneakers and our Kangol hats. Remember the Kangols? Okay, and there he is rocking his rope chain. And remember these Gazelles? Remember those? All right, well, for the cheap people who couldn't afford Gazelles, they had a pair of Cazelles. Not sure if you guys remember that, but figured I'd throw that in there. Now, if you notice, I've got the boombox in there We used to walk around rocking a big boom box. Whoever had the bigger boom box was the coolest in the neighborhood. All right, got the bazooka gun. Now, let's get to some important people. Now, this illustration down here, I don't need to tell you guys why I put that illustration there. And if so, you're cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. All right, this is Mrs. Leonard. This right here, it's not actually her, but it's a representation of her. There wasn't a day after Mrs. Leonard got off of work. She'd come home, go inside, probably watch some TV, change into her little nightgown and her sandals, and sometimes she wore a wrap, sometimes she didn't. She'd come out with a cigarette or a pack of cigarettes, and she'd come out with a glass of Pepsi with ice in it. And she'd sit on that porch, and not one person would walk by her without saying hello or sit alongside her and share some stories. So I'd like to think that Miss Leonard was like the Van Horn Street neighborhood mom. So you could always find her on that porch. She was like a staple to Van Horn Street. All right. And right up here. All right, we got the Godfather Van Horn. I call him the Godfather Van Horn. We have Petey Pop, Pito, on his motorcycle. So I actually stole that from an image that Che, aka Alize Putana, shared on the Van Horn group. So took that and mirrored it, just to represent, Pete and what he meant to the neighborhood. If it wasn't for Pete, we wouldn't just have, block parties. But Pete had his own way of, just making sure no one got in trouble. He was like, I would say, like a father figure to everyone. He kept an eye on everyone, standing on his porch behind those bars. He could see down the block. Anywhere he went, Pete made sure everyone was doing okay. He didn't care if you weren't his kid or not. He always looked out for you. If you had a parent in the window asking where that child was, Pete will find someone to find you. Pete had his way. Pete was cool. And down here, all right, now this is Rene. All right. So the reason I put Rene down here, rest his soul, rest Pete's soul, rest Miss Leonard's soul. They've all passed and gone. So, we appreciate the time we spent with them. It was great. So the reason I put Rene here is because Rene was one of those guys that he drove truck. He was one of the many people on the block that drove truck. So I believe it was him. I believe it was Grizel's father. And I remember Mikey's dad also drove truck too. But one of the things I remember about Rene is he brought an 18-wheeler, parked it in the lot, and that 18-wheeler was filled with these rubber multicolored balls. And I think at one point he tried to get rid of them for $1 a piece, but he had so many of them, before you knew it, the whole block and all the way down to the other side of Van Horn where 22 School was, everyone had one of those. You couldn't walk into anyone's home or backyard without finding one of those balls all over the neighborhood. So that's one of the key things I remember about him. But other than that, he was cool also. Sometimes when we went to Patty's parties, he threw awesome parties in the backyard. Rene was cool, especially when he got a little tipsy and he wanted to dance. Oh my God, can my man dance? But yeah, man, I miss him. Miss Rene, miss Pete. Obviously Miss Leonard, man. How many times have I crossed the street and made it to school and back, by the blow of her whistle. Annoying sometimes, but she got the work done. Big ups. So you got the bazooka gum here also. You see the bazooka gum? But I put on there Van Horn instead. I thought that'd be nifty. Remember the old Topsy box? Street Topsy box? I got some tops there. Yeah, screw Atari. Back then, before there was even Atari games, this was our entertainment in the street. We'd spend hours grinding our tops down, the smoothest we can get it. We trade tops. I remember every time someone took a bottle cap off of a Pepsi, I'm like, yo, you need that, man? Went home, filed that baby down flat, got some wax, remember, or some aluminum foil, wrapped the nickel around that, stuffed that baby real nice. Yeah, we took care of our tops better than we took care of our cars. Oh, and speaking of cars, now, do I really even need to explain what this is? Do I really need to get into it? The infamous car on the gate, which is still sitting there to this day. Come on, guys. So that's an iconic car. The reason it's green is because someone took the liberty to paint it green. I guess the owners of that place painted it green. But that car's been sitting there since my dad was out here, and that was a while ago. So yeah, and if you can also notice on the background here, you'll notice like a brick wall. The brick wall is actually the shape of Jersey. You see that? Shape of New Jersey. All right. And on that brick wall, this is more for my brother. The guys used to play softball in the back of the lots. That brick wall is a representation of the factory, the warehouse that was back there. And on that warehouse, I remember they had a spray painted X on the wall. And that was our mark where the batter would stand. I guess if you hit the X, it was a strike. Yep, so that's why I placed that there. You've got some graffiti on the outline there. The idea was eventually I was going to put the whole backdrop was going to be the brick wall with everyone's name on it, but I feel that was a clutter, so I went with this idea instead. So I'm thinking maybe to take the names that you guys are kind enough to send me, and maybe the back of the t-shirt, create a brick wall with all your names on there. The reason I asked that you guys send them in signature format, because I was going to use that format to place it on the wall as if it were you guys who wrote it yourselves. And don't act like you didn't go with your huge markers writing in bathroom walls and walls anywhere you can find them. All right. Oh, and look, there's a wiffle bat right there. Remember the wiffle bat? And there's a wiffle ball with that. Oh my God, how many games we played outside. Let me tell you where the entertainment in that lied. The entertainment in that for me was when Javi was on one team and his brother Herbert, aka Papito, was on the opposite team. And every time Javi was at bat and Papito threw a curveball and caused him to strike, holy smokes. Man, you can hear Javi screaming for his dad down the block, as if his dad Elvis was gonna come out of the house and grab Papito by the ear because he kept striking him out. But yeah, that was my entertainment when it came to wiffle ball. I sucked at it personally myself, but my entertainment is watching Papito and Javi go at it all the time. Yep. So guys, I hope you guys like this drawing, man. You know, I had fun with it. Oh, one more. See that track up there? That train track? That's for me. Okay? That's because most of the time when I wasn't on Van Horn, I spent most of my time at the tracks, hopping on trains all the way to downtown and back. We used to call it the mountains. We used to call the railroad tracks the mountains because they had a bunch of hills and stuff like that. We'd go out there, we'd find pudding. I don't know if you guys remember, we'd find pudding, bring it back to the neighborhood, you know, disperse it or eat it. But also, the reason I put that train track there was someone took the liberty of releasing goldfish underneath the bridge at the railroad tracks. And I remember, and I don't know if you guys remember, a ton of us came home with goldfish that lasted probably a couple of days because they weren't used to being in clean water. Little did we know when we cleaned the water, we were shocking the poor things to death. But yeah, so that's the reason why I put the train track there. I got a lot of memories of that place. Those tracks took me to Liberty Park on foot. It took me downtown on foot until I think to my older brothers taught me how to hop the trains and just ride them all the way downtown. The most dangerous thing was hopping off on time. But yeah, guys, so I hope you guys enjoy this drawing. It was a lot of fun creating it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to print this baby out on photo paper, see how she comes out. And I will definitely get back to you guys. I'll post it on my site and wait to hear back. Thanks a lot, guys.